ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another exciting episode of Trigger Warning Radio. I am your host, the Kaiju Conservative. Now, the city of Orlando, Florida has officially become a sanctuary city, or at least as close to a sanctuary city as they're willing to get. Monday afternoon, the city of Orlando adopted what's been known as the Trust Act. They've become the first city in the South to do so, and what the Trust Act does essentially is it basically prevents law enforcement officials and city employees from discriminating based on immigration status. Now, essentially this means that if you're involved in a traffic stop, or if you're involved in a crime, or if you're conducting like routine city business or something like that, officials will not ask you about your immigration status. You will not be profiled or detained based on your immigration status by the Orlando Police Department, and there's no one who's going to be questioned about their immigration status during the course of a routine investigation by the Orlando Police Department, unless, of course, that directly relates to a crime, is how the city has worded it. Now, this ordinance was adopted, like I said, Monday afternoon. It was passed by a unanimous vote in the Orlando City Council. That was the meeting was attended by all sorts of activist groups and DACA recipients and undocumented immigrants, illegal immigrants of all shapes, sizes, and colors. Basically, would have been an ICE agent's wet dream almost at Orlando City Hall yesterday. Now, the Trust Act also makes a provision to allow for a U visa for people who help in criminal investigations. Basically, what that does is just grants temporary legal status to somebody who is either the victim of a crime or somebody who is aiding in the investigation of a crime, essentially. Now, the Orlando mayor, Buddy Dyer, he's saying that this Trust Act, this ordinance, something that has, by the way, been adopted by a whole bunch of different cities up north, like Chicago and Philadelphia, very leftist cities, by the way. He's saying this is not about protecting people who commit crimes. This is about protecting people from people who commit crimes. You know, the whole reasoning behind this is that illegal immigrants are victimized by crime very frequently, and the logic says that, you know, these people don't report crimes because they're concerned about being deported because of their illegal immigrant status, which is, you know, a justifiable concern. Now, this Trust Act is something that has been lobbied for by 36 different social justice groups that formed what was called the Trust Coalition. They've been lobbying for this sort of thing since November, and this essentially solidifies and codifies an Orlando Police Department policy. This is something that they already did. They never asked about immigration status. They didn't pick people up based on immigration status or anything like that. So what this Trust Act does is essentially makes that policy law. Now, local media almost unanimously, from what I've been able to find, supports this ordinance. I haven't found any sort of dissent against the Trust Act, except for the lone wolf, so to speak, is local radio show host Bud Hedinger, who essentially has said that the Trust Act makes Orlando a sanctuary city, which I agree with, which I'll get to in just a few moments. It's being billed as protecting quote unquote law-abiding citizens. So it's it's protecting people who are not breaking the law from people who are breaking the law. So now they can report the people who are victimizing them that are breaking the law. But this, of course, the tortured language in all of these stories ignores the fact that this is actually protecting people who are breaking the law, because it is a crime to be an illegal immigrant in the United States of America. Something that no local news source seems to be picking up on and wanting to discuss. Now, city officials have said that this does not make Orlando a sanctuary city. In fact, Commissioner Tony Ortiz specifically said that this is not sanctuary city legislation. They are still going to cooperate with the federal government in their investigations where it's warranted, and they're just again solidifying a policy that was already in place. Now, if you ask me, this the insistence that this is not making Orlando a sanctuary city, this is essentially a matter of semantics. I mean, it's word games, is what it is. Yeah, it's not sanctuary city legislation, but it's essentially doing the exact same thing as sanctuary city legislation. It is giving sanctuary to people who are breaking the law. It's saying that yes, we recognize that you are breaking federal immigration law, but we are not going to punish you for it unless we are investigating a crime that you have committed. Now, that is the slight difference between sanctuary city legislation like you'll find in, say, San Francisco or, anywhere in California or New York City or anything like that. That is a slight difference, but it essentially does the same thing. It's being billed as a humane policy, this Trust Act, but it's something that is only going to increase illegal immigration. Why go anywhere else when you can come to a city like Orlando, the city beautiful, with fabulous weather most of the year, except for the sweltering hot summers that suck all the moisture out of you the second you walk out of your door? Why go anywhere else? Why not come to Orlando, where not only will you have fantastic weather and you can probably get a job paying absolute crap, but you can still get a job. And not only that, but you will not be arrested with regards to the Trust Act is how much is it really protecting people from being victimized? Illegal immigrants are victimized across this country, not just by crime. People who come here illegally, they routinely get very, very, very low paying jobs doing various activities, whether it's cleaning houses, gardening, working in fields, whatever, oftentimes in dangerous conditions for pennies on the dollar. I mean, these people, it's essentially, I've said this before, but it's essentially creating a slave underclass that businesses can exploit with impunity. And these people have very, very they have very little legal recourse. Say that 10 times fast for me. God. And with the Trust Act encouraging illegal immigration, it's just going to ramp up the exploitation of these illegal workers. It's not, and there's no incentive for businesses not to do this. Essentially, these people, even with the Trust Act, these people are not going to report their employer, the person who is paying them, because what are the chances that they'll be able to get another job in this city? I would surmise that the chances that they're going to be able to get another job are probably pretty low. And there's not too many people that are illegal immigrants that are going to want to go against that are going to want to risk becoming homeless in a foreign country simply because they spoke out against their employer. Now the final point that I want to make about Orlando's Trust Act is this is just a stepping stone on the path towards full-blown sanctuary city status. The social justice groups that pushed for this Trust Act are not going to stop with just the Trust Act. It's not going to happen. These groups, they don't want anybody to be deported for any reason ever, regardless of whether or not they've committed crimes. And they're not going to stop until they see the same sanctuary city policies that California has, that New York has, in the city of Orlando. They're already pushing Orange County as a whole to adopt a similar policy as Orlando has recently. And Mayor Teresa Jacobs, who is the Orange County mayor, she has actually stated that the Orange County government at least is not going to be doing that because it's the responsibility of the Orange County Sheriff's Department to come up with a policy like that and to institute a policy like that if they so choose. So Teresa Jacobs has pushed this off to another agency, which more than likely in time will probably pass some sort of Trust Act legislation county-wide. We are going to see a bigger push to sanctuary city status. The Trust Act has only emboldened these groups here. It's only going to make them more rabid, and we will eventually see, within the next few years probably, full-blown sanctuary city status in the city of Orlando. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Let me know what you think of this in the comments section below. I did try to find the text of the city ordinance that Orlando passed yesterday. However, I have not been able to locate it. The website for the Orlando city ordinances has not been updated yet, probably because this resolution was just passed, and of course local media is not reporting any of the details of the resolution. But rest assured, I will keep looking for it, and when I find it, I will see if I can't go through it with a fine-tooth comb in another episode for you. As always, if you liked what you heard, subscribe to my channel and leave a like. Both of those things help me out quite a bit, and I will see you all next time.